It's time for Nixon and Agnew reviews! Brought to you by Charlington's Champion Chews. The Champion Chew for all gods are new. What's with the sniffles, Agnew? I know you're sick, but I was asking more about where they're coming from, given you don't technically have a head anymore. Maybe I don't want to know. Chicken soup? What do I look like to you, the butler? Besides, the last time I made chicken soup, you somehow contracted bird flu. No, that doesn't say more about my cooking skills. No. Just stay on that side of the sofa. I don't want to catch the goodies. Anyway, good thing we're having a lazy day today, so we can spend all afternoon binge-watching TV box sets. Should make a nice change from our usual 9-to-5 gig of being politicians. So, what shall we be watching today, Agnew? American Gods, Season 3, eh? Oh, did we ever watch the first 2 seasons? We did? 2 years ago, you say? Dang. Well, I hope they have a previously on segment, or else I'm going to have a worse memory lapse than Prince Andrew when they ask him where he was going on all those Epstein flights. American Gods, Hey, is this thing a franchise? Where they can do spin-offs for British gods or maybe Mexican pixies or something? Like Tetley, the god of English tea. Or Narcos, the god of super awesome Latin streaming shows. Norse tradition, you say? Like that Ragnarok thing where after you die you meet up with all your buddies in a giant hall and then attend an all-you-can-eat buffet whilst getting gazeboed on giant jugs of ale surrounded by gorgeous and busty Nordic women in giant corsets? Well, just kill me now, Agnew. Let's go!
Approximately 10 hours later.
Agnew, what the heck did we just watch? I mean, it was pretty and all, but most of these supposed gods are washed-up losers who spend all day smoking, drinking, and lazing about doing nothing for most of the episodes. It's like watching Big Brother, but without the sleaze. The new gods were just as useless. Most of them spent the season locked up in digital prisons and bugging out, whilst Crispin Glover became a 6'1" transsexual black woman for 2 installments, I guess because reasons and diversity points. By the time Machete turned up, I was completely out of it. This Mr. World has more faces than a Californian Democrat, dammit. Bah! I mean, just think about how much story the show actually presenting us with. We spent 8 episodes watching Shadow go shopping for sweaters and ice skates, and then he sat around eating pasties with that super annoying ultra nicey local woman, who was totally obviously behind everything weird happening in the town. I swear we all signed up for watching a show about a battle of literal gods, and all we got was a pathetic 3-minute clunky sword battle between 2 old geezers on a beach. I'm just glad the main guy got eaten by a tree at the end, or else I would have felt so shortchanged, damn it. Yggdrasil? What's that, a new brand name for acne spots? Still, I guess it's not as bad as Season 2, where literally nothing happened to progress the story at all. In fact, those 10 episodes were so pointless, even the previously on recap segment at the start of Season 3 used all the clips from Season 1. What a total waste of potential this entire show was. But at least it had the eye candy. I mean, I'm no funny bandit, but I'd certainly cross the streams for that Ricky Whittle fella. I can't believe he used to play Calvin Valentine over on Hollyoaks. Remember we used to watch that British soap opera show when we were on our holidays in London? This guy has come far, Agnew. And so is his hairline. Arrrr. Shadow Moon, eh? It's like a character from a young adult novel. What's it even mean? Sounds like a preteen amateur writer playing word association and suddenly thinking they're a literature genius. I mean, what was the original name for this guy? Spotlight Sun? Ah. Was that? The book author was really famous and special? Who was it, Helen Keller? Oh, not that kind of special. Fair enough. Neil Gaiman, you say? The same guy who wrote The Sandman and Good Omens, and the creepy Doctor Who episode where the Doctor almost sleeps with his TARDIS? Huh. Well, clearly, this Neil Gaiman feller is very talented, though I prefer his sister, Nellie Lesbian. But as I was saying, the casting in this show is pretty wicked. Ian McShane steals every scene he's in, and watching that Lovejoy fella crowd surf at a Marilyn Manson gig was pretty far out. Arr. Wait, Marilyn Manson was only in one episode because he was accused of sexual assault around the time the show originally aired, and all his subsequent scenes had to be removed because one allegation is all it takes these days to get a guy cancelled? Well, usually I approve of cancel culture, but I can't abide grown men in their 50s still dressing as goths. That's why I voted to impeach Lori Lightfoot. Anyway, look, the guy who played the cop this season was Whitney of Smallville from back in the day. Arr! Yes, and that one season of Flash Gordon in 2007 that nobody ever talks about or seems to remember. My God, that kid just doesn't age. Though it's cool to see him playing a nice guy now, although his character was really frickin' stupid. He said there's basically no crime in this town and there hasn't been a murder for years. But then Shadow goes to the local library and discovers like 20 kids have gone missing over the past decade, and then proceeds to expose a 10-year child sacrifice conspiracy and finds their bodies all within the space of an hour. What's this cop been doing all day for the past few years? Twiddling his thumbs and eating pasties? Didn't he think it was strange how many teenagers just suddenly decide to skip town and are never seen again? I guess we're not supposed to think about any of this too hard. Just like the $3 trillion Build Back Better spending bill in Congress. My favorite character, though, was Mr. World. Man, I could watch this crispy Glover fella all day. The way he moved was just super creepy. It reminded me of the child catcher in Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. Or John Podesta in the basement of that pizza restaurant they used to keep making us go to. Oh, yes. Anyway, also, Mr. World was totally going to be revealed as Loki in disguise, right? He did say his shtick was manipulation and trickery. I guess he could have been the god of fake news, but he looked nothing like Brian Stelter. My hot theory is that Laura was going to be revealed as Mr. World's secret daughter. Arr? Well, at the end he whistled the same tune that she was trying to find out the origin of all season, that was linked to her supposed father. So instead of being Laura Moon, maybe she's really Laura World. Arr! I know, it is an interesting theory. I wonder if they answer any of this in the book. Oh my God! You know what's fucked up, Agnew? If Mr. World is Loki, then in traditional Norse mythology, Loki is also Odin's son. So it follows that both Mr. World and Shadow are in fact half-brothers. Now if our theory is right, and that Laura Moon is Loki's daughter, then it means Shadow married and did the dirty dance with his own niece. Now I know the gods are used to interbreed in mythology, but why is it one rule for them and one rule for us? If our society was just a teensy bit more progressive, the poor Biden family wouldn't have to sleep with each other behind closed doors all this time. Anyway, I can't believe the Indian taxi guy never hooked back up with the Jinn. Yet he spent the whole season obsessed with the guy. It was totally pathetic. It's like, just get over it already, dude. It's never going to work out. I mean, he's an immortal being, and you're an immigrant minicab driver from Queens. Arr! You're right, Agnew. It is still a better love story than Twilight. I also like the twist at the end where that technological boy is implied to be the oldest god of them all, the embodiment of human innovation. Now, who could that be? Ah, Prometheus? No, I was thinking more like whoever it was that invented Twinkie bars. Speaking of sugary goodness, another of my favorite gods was the fine-ass chocolate lady, who kept eating creepy men by sucking them into her vajayjay like some sort of reverse birthing ritual. It brings a whole new meaning to being the first man sucked into a black hole. Arr. I concur. It's a shame they never brought back that leprechaun guy. He was fun and I enjoyed cringing in his woeful Irish accent. But I like the fact they cast a 6'5" actor to play what is traditionally a tiny creature in ancient folklore. It's kind of like someone hiring Mini-Me from Austin Powers to play the giant in a production of Jack and the Beanstalk. It's just funny. Arr. Oh, he's dead? Suicide by copious amounts of alcohol, you say? Well, it hasn't worked yet for Nancy Pelosi, but that's certainly the way I'd like to go. Godspeed, little man. First I have to pay respects. Arr! Yeah, I know they had budget issues this season. I mean, they got a Welshman to play an Irishman, who was essentially just a thrift store version of that Mad Sweeney fella. But personally, I miss the giant carousel from season 2. Everything else is pretty low-key. Or nobody intended. Like, I can't believe Purgatory in this show was just an endless waiting room with different colored tickets. It's like the local laundrette, except you can eventually get out of Purgatory without having to listen to old-age pensioners tell you their life story, whilst they're just trying to get the skid marks cleansed from your kecks. Arr! And I can't believe they didn't even bring back Scully from X-Files to play the god of media for this season. I know they race-changed her to be a fat Asian girl in season 2, but who didn't do a few things they regretted during their sophomore years? I mean, they kept the Nesquik woman, but not Gillian Anderson? Get your priorities right, huh? Oh, her name's Bilquis, and Nesquik is a children's breakfast cereal? Wait, so that leprechaun fella wasn't just hungry for breakfast when he was talking about looking for his Lucky Charms? Man, I must have got so lost. Anyway, I'm still bummed we wasted so much time this season in that crappy random town. I mean, we all knew that missing girl was in the underwater car the whole time. Just like that poor Mary Jo at Chappaquiddick after Teddy Kennedy had one too many limoncello shots. In fact, all the children were in the trunks of the cars that the town submerged in the lake over the years. Arr! I know, we thought they were in the pasties. That was clearly a red herring to throw us off the scent. Just like how Pennywise dresses as a kid's entertainment presenter to lure in the kiddies and suck out their souls. Arr! Yes, that could also apply to why CNN calls itself news. And what was the deal with that young boy going from house to house stealing braziers? It was like a scene straight from Hunter Biden's childhood, damn it. Arr! I know, it is all disappointing. I mean, what the heck happened with this program? I swear this show has like 8 hours worth of story within the entire 30-episode count. The first 2.5 seasons are literally this Wednesday fella going around asking if some of his old and busted friends want to join his gang for one last go-around. It's like a budget version of The Expendables, but without any scenes of action, thrills, or Jason Statham kicking the stuffing out of goons on a basketball court. Racist driver! Well, it's cancelled now, and we still haven't seen a big face-off between the main god characters. God damn it! We spent like 6 episodes this season watching Lovejoy perv over the old woman from Meet the Fuckers, which went absolutely nowhere. Then it all turns out Wednesday planned his own death for decades before Shadow was even born, and the whole devious plan was set into motion so that Shadow would murder himself, and his father Odin can be restored to full power. There's a Joe and Hunter Biden parallel in here somewhere, I just know it. Man, I just can't believe they're going to leave this whole show on a cliffhanger. I mean, they're leaving fans with Wednesday being evil all along, and now Shadow sacrificed himself like a dollar store Jesus. Arr! No, it wasn't even a cross. It was an evil man-eating tree. It's just like Michelle Obama, but with less wooden parts. And according to Reddit, this series got through more showrunners than an equestrian athlete. Apparently the first two geezers were fired after season 1. Then some guy called Jesse Alexander were hired for season 2. Then they had a guy come on for season 3 whose first act was firing the black guy because BLM had become big over the summer and Mr. and Nancy were seen as too much of an angry black man stereotype or something. Firing a black guy because the black community wants better black people on TV. That's like a whole new level of wokery right there, Agnew. Especially as the guy who fired him was a Yale-educated white liberal. Apparently he's also 69 years old. So you have to ask why such an old coot cares so much about representation. But I guess they met their quota. I mean, 2 trans girls and a gay orgy in one episode? That must win a box-checking Olympics award of some kind, right? Oh, whatever. I would have done this show 10 times better, Agnew. I made it more relevant and relatable to today's modern audiences, like having President Trump as Geodis Oranges, the god of Cheetos and midget factory slaves, whilst Kim Kardashian could be Instagrace, the god of greed, personality vacuums, and mighty fine silicone ashes. Hello! Fine, your boy Tom Hanks can be Actor Actorius, the god of all things acting, and collecting lost and discarded children's garments for some strange reason. Anyway, I give season 3 6.2 flaming raging bull things out of 10. And I give the entire show as a whole 6.5 annoying ex-zombie wives out of 10. This show could have been so great, but they let backroom dramas stall the crap out of its progress. Hinted by its own creators, eh? Just like Westworld. What's your score for this show, Agnew? Really? 7.8 out of 10? Let me guess. You were disappointed in the fact that the drunk hammer guy Chernobog didn't actually get to smash anyone's face in, but appreciated the subtle and nuanced way they portrayed the homosexual relationship between the djinn and the taxi guy. Oh, it was just Laura Moon's boobies you liked. Well, my friend, if you enjoyed that, wait till we watch that Spartacus show on the same network. I've read Xena Warrior Princesses in it, and best of all, she does a full frontal scene. Full frontal, Agnew! Last time I saw a full frontal scene, Jeffrey Toobin was jacking off on a Skype call again. I wouldn't mind, but I only called him up to see if CNN would let me hire Brian Stelter to be the lead role in my independent clown movie I was making at the time. Alas, Agnew. I'm starting to think that Ronald McDonald 2, This Time I'm Going on a McKilling Spree, is never going to get made, damn it. Today's god, Agnew? Well, naturally Sleepy Joe is Alzheimer, the god of dementia patients, Mitch McConnell, the god of turtles, and Hillary, the god of political assassinations and chicken sacrifice. AOC? Well, I don't know, but judging by her face, she must be some kind of equestrian god, most likely. True! God damn it, Agnew, get vaccinated, damn it! Oh, what do you mean bird flu was so 10 years ago? What the heck is a coronavirus?